Okay, right, all of you. So let's discuss something like we have some new participants today. So let's discuss some points related to ADF again. So ADF concept is cloud-based ETL environment, extractions, transformations, load. Okay. See here what happens, for example, we have some data sources, different data sources. We're going to extract data from different data sources to data warehouse environment. So in this case, we are going to work with ETL tools, right? So ADF is cloud environment, cloud-based ETL tool. Even we have on-premises also. For example, we have SSIS. SSIS is on-premises only, because on-premises means in our local environment, we can go and install software, then we can work with that, right? But coming to next scenario, if you want to do the same task within cloud, in the cloud, then we are going to work with ADF, Azure Data Factory. Okay. So the important thing is not only learning ADF. So we're also going to discuss about some scenarios related to Azure storage, like Azure data lake related scenarios, and how to work with Azure blob storage, like file system storage, table storage, in the same Azure SQL related storage. So different things we're going to discuss in this training part, because source to destination, from where data is going to store in the source, generally from source to destination, we are going to transfer data, right? So because of that reason only, what we are doing, we are going to work with some scenarios here, like related to storage, like Azure SQL, Azure data lake, right? So we have some other, even Azure Databricks also there, but Databricks we're not going to discuss in this training. Azure Data Factory, up to Azure Data Factory, we are going to discuss, because these are resources, right? So coming to next scenario, now we have different things in this environment, like so how we are going to work with this environment, what are the things there. I'll explain by using some diagram, because if I'm using diagram, you can easily understand the things. That's the reason. So coming to next scenario, for example, we have different data sources here. From different data sources, we are going to extract the data, right? So now coming to next scenario, what type of operations we are going to perform to extract data from different data sources, and what are the terminology related things we are going to perform, because you're working with some scenarios, means some terminology must be there, right? So the terminology is also really important for us. For example, up to now we worked with some environment, for example, ETL environment, suppose SSIS development environment, but that is on premises. So on premises is different, cloud is different, work is same, but little environment is going to change, even terminology will be different, right? So coming to next scenario here, what's happening, for example, you have suppose different data sources like this, right? So data sources data warehouse. This is really important for us, right? And data source environment and a data warehouse database environment is really important. For example, these are my data sources. So data sources means we can go for cloud-based data sources, on-premises data sources also, right? Because we don't know where our client is going to store data. Some client stores data in the form of RDBMS databases, which is there in the on-premises. For example, you take Microsoft SQL Server. Microsoft SQL Server is on-premises one. In the same SQL Server can be maintained in the cloud environment, right? So that is Azure SQL. So different things will be there. So anyhow, our target is we are going to transfer data from different data sources to data warehouse database. For that, you can use ETL tools, extraction, transformation, load. So this is general scenario. But now the different thing is we are working with the cloud-based ETL. ADF is cloud ETL environment, right? And so here, for example, we can work with suppose Microsoft SQL Server. This is on-premises. And in the same way, we can also work with some cloud environment, like for example, Google Analytics, Hadoop. So different types of, what we call different data sources, everything will be there. So from there, we are going to extract data into Azure cloud environment. This is our Azure cloud environment. In this, we are going to maintain separate storages like this, right? And so this is called as data lake concept, and basically Azure data lake storage, and this is Azure data warehouse. Data warehouse database. So this environment is ADF environment, Azure Data Factory environment. So data flow is from here we are going to extract data and we are going to send it to this environment. Okay, now? You know one thing here. Data lake means it can store unstructured data. So structured data, unstructured data. For example, you take RDBMS databases, they contain structured data. Okay. For example, you have some table in RDBMS database. That is structured data only, no doubt at all, right? So structured data means what? Some table will be there. Different things like so different columns will be there. So some structure must be there for the data, right? In the same way, unstructured means some file system. For example, you take different types of file systems. These are all comes under unstructured data. So what type of data can be stored in this data lake means you can go for structured data, unstructured data, anything. That's why we call it as even blob, BLOB. Okay, right? So now coming to next scenario. Here, after extracting data into this, we are going to work with ADF by using, Azure Data Factory. We are going to perform ETL operations so that we can load data into Azure Data Warehouse environment. So here we can take it as source and we can take it as a destination, right? And these are the different things we have. Simple manner. What is ETL operation? How ADF is going to work? See here. Suppose I'm going to discuss only ADF. What about storage? You cannot learn storage. Am I right? So storage is also important for us. That's why you have to learn some scenarios related to storage. Then only you can work with ADF. You can understand ADF. These are really important for us. Got my point? So now Coming to next scenario here. Okay, we got some clarity what we are going to do here. So what type of operations we are going to do in this ADF environment? That is important point. So now, for example, this is my source. Destination. And this is ADF environment. This is the data momented. So here we have data source. Suppose this is destination. Destination means what? Data warehouse database. So this is your ADF environment. So how data is going to transfer from source to destination means by using pipeline concept. So we are going to create some pipeline here based on by using pipeline only data can be transferred from source to destination. Right. So now coming to next scenario. For example, you are creating pipeline means some activities will be there. What are the activities we have? For example, source connection. In the same way, we have destination connection. Right. And in the same way, we are going to work with something like some transformations. These are all will be there. These are all we are going to work. Right. And these are all comes under activities we are going to perform when we are working with this particular concept. Okay, na? Right? So now source connection, destination connection purpose, we are going to use some scenarios here. After connecting to source and destination, we are going to work with some transformations. But remember, the entire process where we are going to configure inside a cloud environment. Inside cloud environment. So here source connection related information, destination connection related information, these are all really required for us. Right. In the same way, transformation, sorry, pipeline means ETL task you are going to configure. This ETL task contains source to destination transformation. So what are the sources we are going to use? What are the destinations we are going to use? See, generally destination will be Azure SQL database, because data warehouse in Azure environment means Azure SQL only. There is no other way. Like, of course, we have other scenarios, but generally we go for Azure SQL database only. Got my point? So now, coming to next scenario. If you know something about Azure SQL, at least SQL server, that will help you. Otherwise, you're going to face confusions, right? Okay, now? In the same way, after configuration of the pipeline, generally we go for execution. Execution purpose, we are going to use trigger concept in this environment. Different types of triggers. I mean, not different types actually. Triggering is for run the pipeline. Different types of scenarios we have, like for example, directly run the pipeline or scheduling. Schedule execution of the pipelines. Different schedules. Suppose you're giving schedule means what happens, based on schedule, the execution is going to happen. Got my point? So this type of scenarios will. So in the same way, what happens, here we are going to work with structured data, unstructured data. That is also there. Structured data means I already discussed tables, suppose notepad file. Unstructured data means text files, images, audio files, video files, right? And sometimes semi-structured data like XML files, JSON files. Different scenarios will be there. Okay, now? So because of that reason only, in the beginning, in the previous diagram, I clearly mentioned about data lake. What I said, data lake can store any type of data. There you can get unlimited data storage also. Structured data, unstructured data, semi-structured data, any type of data can be stored in this Azure data lake environment. So here, when I'm talking about ADF fine, see, we got some clarity pipelines, sources, destinations, transformations, triggering pipeline. That is what the direct task you are going to perform. But if you want to do this task, before that you have to do lot of work there. What type of work we are going to do there means we are going to work with the Azure data lake related configurations. In the same way, storage accounts configurations, containers configurations, database instances configuration, database configuration, different things we are going to do, right? And but anyhow, your target is always ADF. What you are going to do with ADF means pipeline. Got my point? And what you are going to do with ADF means pipeline, and you are going to do, right? So this is really important concept. Okay. Now? So coming to next scenario. For example, if it is on-premises environment, suppose see you are working with some technology means some software will be there. You are going to install software, then you are going to work with that software. You are going to practice, right? That's what we are doing generally. But coming to next scenario, this is not on-premises environment. Suppose Microsoft SQL Server is there only, right? Microsoft SQL Server is there. Microsoft SQL Server on-premises. Directly you can install Microsoft SQL Server in your environment, your laptop, your computer, and you can go ahead and work with that. That is different scenario. but it is cloud environment. It's not, like on premises. So what we are doing, for this, we are going to work with some subscriptions. We have different types of subscriptions here. So we have free subscription and pay as you go. These are the different subscriptions we have. Right. And so pay as you go. Generally in real time, we are going to work with pay as you go only. Now we are going to create some free accounts and we are going to work with the free account only. I created free accounts. I'll show you that. Don't worry. So coming to next scenario, if you go to market, you can hear some words like data engineer, right? So what are the products there in the data engineer? But see, I'm going to work with ETL and first of all. So in ETL, Azure related ETL, what are the things I'm going to concentrate? Azure SQL, I'm going to concentrate because I want to give you clarity. It is ADF training. It is not data engineering kind of training. Okay, that's why I'm giving you clarity in the demo only. This is also demo. Tomorrow onwards, I'll start regular classes. So next, Azure SQL is we are going to discuss, and the same Azure data lake we are going to discuss. Number 3, we are going to work with Azure Synapse. Analytics we are going to discuss. And finally, we are going to work with ADF concept. These are the things we are going to discuss under this. Because we are working with ADF environment, it's not complete data engineering. Right? So, coming to next scenario, if you want to go for remaining things also, complete data engineering kind of scenarios, if you want to do, that is somewhat different again. What happens, there we are going to work with the Databricks concept and Azure Databricks. Okay, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure streaming in the same way, Azure key value. So these are the different concepts we have. They're coming under what we call like data engineer products. But this training is only for ADF related, right? And so up to what level we are discussing? Azure SQL configurations, Azure data lake configurations, Azure Synapse analytics related scenarios, and ADF related configurations, pipelines creation, run pipeline, execute pipeline. These things we are going to discuss. Only these points. Got my point? Some people ask me, what are the prerequisites to do this task? The prerequisites are like, SQL. Better to have some SQL queries knowledge. If you don't have SQL queries knowledge, how can you work with the transformations area? You transformations. ETL means not only ADF. You go to any ETL tool, any ETL, there you are going to work with the transformations, and maximum, transformations are related to, right? Maximum transformations are related to SQL queries part of. So that is the thing we have. Okay, now. So these are the things we are going to work out, and let me show the environment, how the environment will be. So because portal and Azure portal we are going to use means we work with the browser only. So before going to connect to Azure portal, you have to get free account. You have to register free account. For that, you need some credit card also. Okay, na? So they're not going to charge anything, but credit card details they're going to take. So I already created some account. This is complete account, Azure account, cloud environment. So in this first, what happens, we are going to create some resource group. And under this resource group, we are going to create different types of resources. Resources means, I said like data factory is resource, Azure SQL database is resource, storage account is resource, right? And because by using different resources, we can complete our task in this environment, right? Because of that reason only, we are going to create resource groups. Under resource group, we are going to work with different things. Okay, na? So for your previous class, I already started, I finished everything and I started this one also. See this is ADF environment basically. Let me open Data Factory Studio. Just understanding purpose I am showing. So here, linked service concept is different and connectivity, source destination connectivities. So here we have something like, so I created some pipeline here. This is a pipeline one I created like this. See, there is no coding. It's suitable for non-technical people. Drag and drops will be there. See this direct copy. I copied data yesterday. I did some task here. Source, I taken some file, and sync means destination, and I copied file from source to destination. Okay, here you can see trigger. So by using this only, we are going to run this pipeline, whatever we created. Easy to work. That's why I'm showing you environment, because if any non-technical people there in the class, they can find out. So okay, what is this environment, right? Like that. So here see that data sets also we created. Source data set. I've taken source file and even destination also file only, because file to file we did this task previously. We transferred data. So it is easy to work. See that we check the environment, it's easy to work, but little bit technical knowledge and queries knowledge is also required. If you know the queries, then only you can work with these things. See, this is pipeline, source related information, destination information, completely graphical user interface, GUI, graphical user interface part only. ADF environment. This is ADF environment, but this is your Azure Data Factory cloud environment. And if you go back to home page, so this is a resource we created, resource group we created. Under this resource group, we have ADF environment. In the same way, we created some storage and storage account also. Storage account means, I said like a blob. Okay, na? So in this, you can go for container storage. Under containers, I created some files. I uploaded files. Even you can see these tables also. Here you can store data in the form of tables. I discussed about structured data, unstructured data, right? And so those things here we can do. It's easy to work, but only thing is maintain some knowledge in SQL queries part, because it's mandatory for us. Because if you don't know the SQL queries part, you cannot work with this environment, right? So that is the only thing. And SQL free class is also going on at 5 p.m. India time. So if anybody wants to continue this training, you can talk to training team. They will give you a 5 p.m. SQL class link also. You can attend 5 p.m. SQL class also. Okay, na? Right? And so yesterday I given demo, almost same demo again I given today because of new participants. So tomorrow or Monday, tomorrow Friday, we don't know, maximum tomorrow only same time we are going to start regular class. Otherwise, from Monday onwards, we are going to start regular class. So training team will let you know that. Mostly tomorrow only. Okay. Right, and okay then. See you.